How you doing? My name is Bob Miller. You're looking at my 2005 Pontiac GTO. It's actual pace car. Paced for 2 years for the Rolex series, 05 and 06 from my understanding. About 30 venues. According to the docket information I got, I bought this at Barrett-Jackson. It was actually a GM Heritage car, part of their Heritage collection. They decided to sell them off, so I purchased this at auction. They made 2 of them. The other one has the opposite paint scheme, but other than that, though, I think they're fairly similar. Although I'm not sure. I think the other one was an automatic. This is a 6-speed, 6-liter, 6-speed. Very nice little car. I actually purchased it to be a work car, but when I realized that there was no room in the trunk, I could not use it as a work car, so I just kind of parked it and wound up driving something else. But got some documentation on the car. We actually ordered some books from Rolex, and we have some pictures of the car actually pacing, and some where they were just kind of parked, this one and a sister car next to each other. In 2007, they discontinued this model from Pontiac, and they went to the G8. So they made new pace cars for the 07 season, but for the 05-06 season, these are the 2 cars that did all the pacing. They left everything in it. I have all of the strobes. The strobes, unfortunately, are not in the car, but they built regular lights, so it has functioning lights and tail lights and turn signals, brake lights. But I have all of the strobes, so if I decided to take the car out of service, I could put the strobes in it, but I don't really feel a need for that. But I did hook up the Mars light. I do like the Mars light on top, so I got that working just to show people that it's a real pace car. I got the car in 2008. It was the first year for the Barrett-Jackson in Vegas. So I purchased the car from them, and so I've had it 10 years. I got it with just under 1,900 miles, like 1,870. I got a little over 5,000 on it now, so you know, a couple thousand miles in 10 years, I guess, isn't too bad.
Since it's a pace car, did they do anything special with the brakes?
You know what? I talked to the guy that supposedly headed this up. I believe this thing was actually done at a place called Wheel to Wheel. So GM didn't actually do the pace cars, but there was a guy that was kind of in charge of their pace car project. And unfortunately, he didn't give me too much information. Rumor has it that there might have been some handling and possibly some brake upgrades to it, but you know, the cars are pretty good from the factory, so I don't know if it was really necessary to do that. And it's got the 6-liter, I believe it's 400 horsepower, 6-speed manual transmission, so I mean, it moves. It scoots. So
can we see the engine?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as you see it here is completely as I've gotten the car. The only thing I changed on it was the battery, but everything is exactly the way you could see. The car was painted really well, and if you could see in certain spots that the car was originally red, which is interesting that they painted the car blue, but even like in the doors, all of the lettering, well, for the most part, most of the lettering is all painted. You know, the Rolex series is a decal, but the official pace car on the bottom, the GTO, that's all painted. And it's actually painted in the doors, too. You can actually see where they actually went inside the doors and painted. So they did a really nice job when they did the car.
Now, how much, can you mention how much horsepower?
I'm assuming it's about 400, because I think that's what the 6-liter is. And like I said, unless they did something to it, it doesn't sound like it's got a lot done to it. Maybe an exhaust, I don't know.
Now, typically with the pace car, they really modify it or bump it up?
Yeah.
Do you think it was only the exterior that they did, or did they do also the performance upgrade?
You know what? Again, I tried to get information, and they were kind of vague on the information. So I'm assuming because they were so vague on the information that they probably didn't do a lot to it. Because if you have something to brag about, you would. You know. Again, for me though, the car handles really well. It moves, it's very fast. I mean, obviously it doesn't have to keep up with the race cars, so it doesn't have to go 200 miles an hour, but I'm sure you know, at times it's required to do 100 plus on down the track, trying to catch up or trying to pace. So, you know, but it does it quite, you know, quite easily. So,
I noticed that in the interior, I didn't see any controls for the lights, the add-on lights.
yeah, there is actually in the console. They actually put a switch in, and if I had the rest of the lights in there, they would all work together. But right now, I just have the Mars light working, and like I said, it's just, you know, when I got it, it didn't even work. So all I had to do, I just had to put some fuses in there.
Right, right.
Yeah, they basically took all the fuses out of it. But all of the electronics are in the trunk, and you could see where, you know, I lose a lot of space because of it.
Now, do you know this car fan over here?
Never heard of them, never seen them, I got a
Remember, I can edit. I can edit.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So there you go. There with that's. There you go. So so yeah, I mean, you know, the electronics are still there, which is nice.
Right.
You know, everything is just kind of curled up underneath. So if I wanted to pull all the cables through, but I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna like make it a pace car. I'm never gonna pace with it. I'm not gonna put it in a museum. If someday I sell it, someone wants to put it in a museum, I have the lights. But you know, the interesting thing is there would the sister car to this was sold again. I don't know who wound up buying it. It was at a dealership in Texas, and then it just kind of disappeared. So I don't know if someone bought it and put it into a collection, but it seems like it's been staying out west. Although the mileage was a lot higher on the other one. Last check, I think it was like 16 or 18,000 miles. So there's a lot more miles on the other car. So I don't know if the other person that purchased the car used it more, or if it was used more as a pace car than this one. But like, again, I got some really nice photos of it. Again, just a really nice car. You know, I wish I knew more about the performance and the mechanics on it, but like I said, I'm just going to the assumption that it's pretty much the way GM expected it to be. Yeah, you know, I know it was shipped into, because they're made in Australia, so I know they brought it into. It was weird trying to trace the history of this. The car was brought into a dealership in California, but it was sold through a dealership in Ohio or Iowa, I believe, and then sent to the wheel-to-wheel to have the conversion done. Yeah, pretty much it. Well, thanks for watching US Classic Muscle Cars, and watch more videos. Thanks.